Messages traveling at light speed sounds like something from the future. In reality, it's actually something of the past. If you wanted to get your message out faster in the 1800s, all you had to do was grab a heliograph. The heliograph was an early form of communication that used sunlight and mirrors to project flashes and coded signals. It paved the way for other forms of communication. First off, we'll learn about the development of the heliograph. Then, we'll learn about how it made communication possible. And finally, we'll learn about how it paved the way for many other modern forms of communication. The heliograph in its simplest form dates back to Native American times. They called it a sunwriter. The heliograph, pictured here, was invented by James Morse in 1876. He was in the British Army and wanted a better way to communicate over long distances during field operations. After its invention, it was primarily used in warfare. As stated in Science magazine, the value of a heliograph in war operations has become more apparent every day. The first heliograph station was based in Montana. In 1909, the Forestry Service started to use heliographs to communicate with one another in national parks. According to the Columbia Encyclopedia, heliographs were used in ancient times and as recently as the late 19th century. The heliograph is a visual telegraph. The heliograph puts out coded signals by reflecting the sunlight in mirrors. This comes out in the form of flashes. The different flashes are created by tilting mirrors and using the sun in different directions. Each flash can mean a different number, a different letter, or a short phrase. The heliograph was developed to be small and lightweight, so it was easy to carry. As stated before, it was used in war operations, and you don't want to be carrying something super heavy around when you're in war. The flashes from a heliograph can be sent in any direction during the daylight. In order to receive a message, though, from a heliograph, you had to have a clear line of sight and a practically perfectly clear day. The heliograph has a max range of 10 miles for every inch of the diameter of the size mirror that you have. For its time period, the heliograph was one of the best forms of communication. Unlike the telegraph of its time, the heliograph did not require the line of communication to stay open. You could shut it off, you could turn it on, you could move it around. And in wartime, a form of communication that's line cannot be cut is more valuable than practically anything. The heliograph led to many forms of communication. The most well-known is the modern coded language some militaries use. It also paved the way for more modern communications through telegraphs. So in conclusion, the heliograph was a very important and interesting development that made communication easier and safer. It also led to more modern forms of communication that some militaries still use today. Who would have thought that all you needed to communicate over a long distance was sunlight and mirrors? So, if you want your messages to travel at light speed, go grab yourself a heliograph and hope for a clear day.